What's up, guys? Back with the fourth and final video of this round of filming. So we're going to talk about inflation now. Ooh, the dreaded thing that everybody hates nowadays, that they talk about nowadays. Inflation. So what is inflation? I have my notes here, so let me get it to the basic. It says it's the increase and the general price level of goods and services in an economy. Now you're saying, okay, so what you're saying is it's the increase in the general price of, what we buy, our food, or we buy vehicles, or you want to buy houses, services, haircuts, etc., and an economy. So what it really is saying that the price of things goes up, but the purchasing power goes down. So that is the main thing. I know a lot of us can go on tangents, a lot of us can go on rants about this. Guys, here's the thing about inflation. Things go up. The cost of living, let's just put it basic. The cost of living goes up, but wages don't. Let's just put that as the base. There are many types of inflation that I'm about to cover now, but let's just put that as our base. Housing goes up in Florida. Wages in Florida barely go up. Therefore, people wouldn't be able to purchase a house. Their purchasing power goes down because they can't afford it. Cost of bread goes up. Now you have to buy bread. Cost of gas goes up. Now you got to buy more gas. Well, less gas for a higher price. So obviously, you have purchasing power. Now you say a basket of goods. You could buy $300 worth of groceries and it could last you maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Now you say $300 lasts you a week. So that's inflation right there. Obviously it comes from more money and the money supply, etc. There's a lot of things that do it, but we're going to touch on some parts of inflation. Just know that inflation is the increase of goods and services, the general price level, that is, of goods and services in an economy, and you're buying fewer goods plus services because obviously the price is too much. So here are the types. We have demand pool. So that's when the demand for goods slash services exceeds the production capacity. So whenever the production capacity is not high, but you have a lot of people saying, hey, we want this. So a lot of people saying we want this product, but you cannot produce a lot. So what's going to happen? Somebody's going to tinker and say, well, if a lot of people want this, but I don't have enough of it, I'm just going to have to get money. So what do people do? They charge a higher price. And you're saying, wow, inflation. Well, yes, inflation, but it depends with that type of inflation, because sometimes there are shortages. For example, when they had the chip shortage for vehicles, obviously you saw dealers just mark up their cars above MSRP. Some dealers said, oh, we try to stay true, but obviously they're still going to catch you on the back end with your fees. Regardless of that, whenever you have demand pull inflation, sometimes they can't produce a lot. Sometimes there were no used cars in 2021. A lot of car dealerships didn't have as much used cars as they had beforehand. So whenever people say we want this vehicle or we want this product right here, but people can't, the manufacturer or the people selling it say, well, we don't have enough of that. The only thing they can do to make sure that they get their money back on it, because obviously they put their money towards getting the vehicle or getting the product, they have to charge a higher price. That means obviously less people are going to buy it, but the people that really want it, or the people that highest bidders, they get to buy that. So obviously people are going to say, well, we wanted that, but it's too much. Well, the people that could be able to buy that, they're going to buy it because they say we want it regardless. So obviously that's one part of inflation. Number 2 is cost push. So it's when production costs increase prices. So let's just say you have to buy more raw materials, but raw materials are going up because there's a lack of people that don't help with the raw materials, lack of people working for the raw materials. So okay, well, we got to find a way to get the raw materials. So obviously for people not to spend a lot of money on employment or wages, etc., it's okay. We have the team right here. We're just going to charge more on the back end and let the people that buy it, let the consumer pay for that. So production costs increase prices. So let's just say you have a power plant, and obviously people are quitting. It's unfavorable conditions. Now people aren't working there. So now you're saying, well, what am I going to do to get my money back? Because obviously it feels like my production is slowing down. Oh, I know. We're going to have the product cost more now. So now you're going to say, well, these materials are more expensive. You're going to charge more on the production supply, and then therefore your distributors, they're going to be like, oh, well, you guys are charging us more to take this in. We're going to charge more to put it out. That's how it's going to go. Built in. So when prices rise, wages rise too in order to maintain living costs. That's called built in. Honestly, I think that's the best one that you could probably have. Obviously, I'm not an economics person. I'm a finance guy, accounting person a little bit. I'm not certified accounting on that. By the way, don't quote me on that for CPA. I am a finance guy first and foremost. But when prices rise, wages rise too. So here's the thing, and obviously that's just a simple definition that we could just skip past, but that would be very useful, especially here in the state of Florida, because let's face it, housing, food, etc., cars, everything's gone up. And the wages here, I think minimum wage until like maybe 2026, I believe, or 2025 is when they hit $15 an hour. People still can't live off that today. People barely get by. It's like, I guess, what the median wage around here is maybe in the 50s or something. But at the same time, it's just the cost of living here is so expensive. People are being driven out of their homes, out of their areas because they cannot afford to live here. So if we had something where we could have prices rise and wages rise too at the same time, then it would help. But obviously, when we voted on minimum wage to go up, then the booms just happened in Florida, and obviously that didn't catch up in time. So the wages not catch up in time. That is. Now we have controlling inflation now. So how do you control it? Well, the Fed's funds rate. So, and people say, well, what is the Fed's funds rate? So the Fed's funds rate is the rate that's charged to banks when they lend to each other overnight. So the Fed's funds rate, when you raise the Fed's funds rate, it increases the cost of borrowing for banks, and then it encouraging savings over investment because they're saying, okay, well, we need to save our money, we need to hold up, we're not going to invest too much because if we put more money out, then that's going to basically burn us. And then it reduces the demand for goods and services now, because when you have a cost of borrowing that's increased, like nobody wants to say, well, if the cost of borrowing goes up, I don't want to borrow any more money, I don't want to have any more money being lended towards me. So that means like, okay, we're gonna save money. Everybody put a halt on borrowing. We're gonna save more, and then we're gonna not worry about that investment, but we're gonna have goods and services be reduced because nobody wants to overall start at the top with the cost of buying going up, and then it comes out and it just lowers out their profits in the end, or lowers out the money that they're owed in the end. So that's how you control it. There's obviously other ways to do it, but I just had a base overall video of inflation. Guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was very informative. So just remember, guys, when inflation hits, obviously things are going to go up. It's just about, will wages ever tack on, and would they be able to match inflation? If not, gotta talk to your leaders about that, because see what the policy is from the federal government, from Congress, obviously. But just know that rates go up, prices go up, everything's going to go up, but it's about, will those wages catch up soon? Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Tune in for the next video.